Welcome to Deep Sleep Storyteller. Get comfortable, close your eyes, and let your body begin to rest. Tonight, I am going to take you somewhere very special, somewhere old, somewhere warm, somewhere the sea sings you gently to sleep. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. Just breathe and let the story carry you. You have been traveling for a long time, not just today, though today has been long enough, with its gray skies, and its winding coastal roads, and its salt-heavy wind pressing against you from every direction. But longer than that, in some deeper sense, you've been carrying something for a while now, the particular weight of days that have asked too much of you. Weeks that have moved too fast, a kind of tiredness that lives not just in the body, but somewhere behind the eyes, somewhere in the chest, somewhere in the quiet places that rarely get to be quiet. But that is ending now, because ahead of you, through the rain and the gray and the darkening of the evening sky over the sea, you can see it, the lighthouse. It stands on the point, that long, rocky finger of land that reaches out into the water, as though the land itself wants to touch the horizon. The lighthouse is tall and white, or it was white once, and now it is the color of things that have been weathered for a long time. Pale gray, cream, stone color, the color of something that has stood in salt wind and sea rain for more years than you could count, and has been made more itself by the experience, not less. The tower rises from a cluster of lower buildings, the keeper's house attached at its base, low and solid, built from the same stone as the point itself, as though it grew from the rock rather than being placed on it. And at the base of the tower, in a window of the keeper's house, a light, not the great light at the top, that one sweeps in its long, slow, patient arc through the dark and the rain, once and again, marking the point for ships that are somewhere out there in the gray water, far away. That light belongs to the sea, but this other light, this warm, amber, still, unhurried light in the low window of the house, that one is for you. That one says, "Come in." That one says, "You are almost there." That one says, "Rest is here. If you want it, you make your way along the path." It is a narrow path, worn into the rock over many decades of footsteps, the footsteps of keepers and their families, of supply boats and visitors, of people who have come to this point for reasons that were urgent or quiet or neither. And it is slick tonight with the rain that has been falling since mid-afternoon. The rain is not a dramatic rain. It is the kind of rain that the sea makes horizontal, fine, everywhere at once. More mist and drop in some moments, and then more drop and mist in others, shifting and patient, and entirely comfortable with being here for as long as it wants to be. The wind comes off the water. It is not a violent wind. It is a persistent wind, a wind with purpose, the kind of wind that has been moving across open water for a long distance, and carries with it the smell of everything and has passed over. Salt, deep cold water, something alive and ancient and clean. It presses against your coat, finds the edges of your collar and your sleeves, touches your face with its cold and slightly damp hands. But you are almost at the door. The path brings you to a low stone wall and through a gate, iron, simple, slightly rusted at its hinges but swinging easily enough, and then across a small courtyard where the stone flags are dark with rain, and the wind eddies in circles, and then to the door of the keeper's house. The door is wooden, heavy, old wood, dark with weather and oil, banded with iron straps that have gone deep rust red over the years. There is a brass handle, dull with age, but solid, real, cool under your hand. When you reach for it, you reach for it. You press the latch, and the door opens. The warmth comes out to meet you. It comes the way warmth always comes from inside an old stone building that has had a fire burning in it all day, not just as temperature, but as presence, as character, as something that has been building and deepening for hours. It has become its own particular version of warmth. This is not the sharp warmth of a radiator or the dry warmth of forced air. This is the warmth of stone that has been heated through, of thick walls that have absorbed the fire's heat and are giving it back slowly and evenly and with great patience. It smells of wood smoke and salt and something else, something that belongs to this place specifically, something that might be old timber or lamp oil, or the particular stone of this coastline, or all of these things combined into a single smell that you cannot quite name, but that your body recognizes immediately as safe, as shelter, as the place you have been walking toward. You step inside. You close the door behind you. The wind is gone. Not entirely. You can still hear it, pressing against the thick stone walls of the house, finding the gap under the door, and making a low, barely perceptible sound there, like a whisper. You can hear it in the chimney too, a soft moan as it passes over the top and draws the smoke upward and away. But it is outside now. It is doing its work out there, on the rock and the water and the sky, and that is exactly where it belongs. In here, there is only the warmth and the quiet and the amber light. Take a breath. Just breathe in the warm air of this place. Let your lungs fill with it. The smoke, the salt, the old wood, the stone. It is the smell of shelter. It is the smell of here. And here is safe. And here is enough. Let your shoulders come down. You are here. You are safe here. The room you have entered is low-ceilinged and simple and entirely right. The walls are thick stone, whitewashed on the inside, or they were whitewashed once, and now they are the color of old whitewash, which is cream and shadow, and the accumulated light of many years of lamplight and firelight. The ceiling is low enough that you are aware of it above you in a comforting way, close, not oppressive, just present, just the reminder that you are inside, that you are under something. You are covered. The beams that cross the ceiling are dark, dark with age and with the smoke of many winters. They are thick and slightly irregular because they were cut by hand from timber that was never perfectly straight, and they were fitted together by someone who knew what they were doing, who knew these walls and this wind, and understood what was needed to hold a house together. On a rocky point in the middle of the sea, the floor is stone too, large, uneven flags of the same gray rock as the point itself, worn smooth in the paths of regular movement, from door to hearth, from hearth to table, from table to the stairs that lead up into the tower. The worn places in the stone are the history of this house, the record of every keeper who has lived and worked here, every morning and evening walk from fire to door and back again, In the center of the near wall, the fireplace, and the fire. Oh, the fire is exactly what you needed to see. It is a real fire, a proper fire, the kind of fire that has been burning long enough to have settled into its most comfortable and generous version of itself. The grate is deep and wide, built for a house that needs serious warmth in serious weather, and the fire inside it has expanded to fill the space available. The logs, sea-weathered timber, perhaps, or proper split logs from the mainland, have been burning long enough that they are now deep orange coal at their centers. The wood itself transformed by heat into something more purely energy, more purely warm. Small blue and gold flames move along the surfaces of the coals in slow, easy patterns. They shift and lean and reach upward, not dramatically, not urgently, just doing what flames do when there is warmth enough and no rush. The light the fire makes on the stone walls is amber, rich, deep, moving amber that turns the simple whitewashed stone into something almost golden, something ancient and warm and generous. The shadows the fire makes move very slowly, the way shadows do when the light source is a fire, not the quick sharp shadows of electric light, but the soft, rounded, slowly shifting shadows of flame. Shadows that have more in common with water than with darkness. You stand for a moment in front of the fireplace. You are not moving toward anything. You are simply standing, and the fire is in front of you, and the warmth from it reaches your face and your hands and the front of your coat, and it is exactly right. Your coat. Time to take off your coat. You work at the buttons, or the zip, or the clasps, whatever holds your coat closed against the weather, and you feel each one release with a small, satisfying looseness. The coat comes off your shoulders, and you feel the weight of it go, and with it goes something else, the effort of the journey, perhaps, the held readiness of a body that has been moving through cold and wind for too long, and has not yet been told it can stop. You can stop. You hang the coat on the hook beside the door. There is a row of them there. Old iron hooks set into the stone, worn smooth where hands have hung and taken down coats through every season of many years. Your coat hangs there now, and it is damp with the rain, and it will dry here overnight by the warmth of the fire, slowly and completely. Your boots next. You sit on the low bench near the door, stone, with a piece of old timber across the top for a seat, worn smooth, and you work at your bootlaces with fingers that are cold and slightly stiff. Each lace loosens, each boot loosens, and you ease them off one by one and set them side by side on the stone floor near the door. In your socks now, thick wool socks, perhaps the kind that belong in old stone houses near the sea. You feel the floor directly beneath you, and even the cold stone of the floor is somehow comforting. The solidity of it, the realness of it. You stand, you are inside. The fire is warm. You are safe here. You move toward the fire. The room is not large, and the fire is not far away, and the journey across the stone flags takes only a few seconds. But those few seconds are enough to notice things. The round wooden table near the center of the room, with its single oil lamp burning low in the middle of it, making a small golden circle of light on the wood. The two chairs near the hearth, not matching, not fine, but solid and well worn and deeply comfortable looking. each one with a cushion that has been sat in many times and has taken on the particular softness of things long used. A shelf on the wall with a few things on it: a tin cup, a tobacco jar, a small wooden figure carved from dark wood in the shape of something you cannot quite identify, a seal, perhaps, or a bird, or just a shape that someone's hands made while sitting here in the evenings, while the fire burned and the lighthouse turned above, and the sea did what the sea does. A kettle on the hook above the fire. It is already there, already over the heat, and from the spout there rises a thread of steam, thin, white, barely visible in the amber air, but present, but real, but the promise of something warm to drink. You sit in one of the chairs. The chair receives you. That is the only way to describe it. Not that you sit in it, but that it receives you, takes your weight, offers you its accumulated softness and its particular angle of repose, which is exactly the right angle for a body that has walked in rain and wind and is now beside a fire in a lighthouse keeper's house on a rocky point in the sea. You are in the chair. The fire is in front of you. The kettle is steaming. Everything is exactly as it should be. You are safe here. Let that settle. You are safe here, in this house of stone that has stood on this point for longer than you can imagine, that has held people in its warmth through storms far wilder than tonight's, that has been the still, warm center of this rocky, exposed point through everything the sea could offer. The walls are 3 feet thick in some places. The fireplace is deep and real. The door is solid, and the latches are iron. Everything about this place was built for exactly this, for keeping the warmth in and the cold out, for being what the sea cannot be, which is still and warm and safe. The lighthouse above turns. You can feel it rather than see it from down here. Not a physical sensation, nor a sense of the great mechanism working above you, the light sweeping its patient arc through the dark. One rotation, and another, like a great slow heartbeat. The lighthouse keeps its rhythm, keeps doing its ancient job of marking the point, of saying to the ships out there, here is the rock, here is the land, go this way, and not that way, be safe. But that is its word. This warmth, this chair, this fire is yours. The kettle begins to speak, not with words, but with sound, a low building murmur that starts somewhere deep inside the water and rises as the water heats, a sound that begins as a whisper and grows slowly into something fuller, more confident. It is one of the best sounds in the world, the sound of water heating for a warm drink in a warm room on a cold and rainy night. It is the sound of something being prepared for you, something good, simple, and warm. You take the kettle off the hook, carefully, the handle wrapped in a thick cloth, and you pour. The steam rises. The water steams into the cup, a wide, plain ceramic cup, or perhaps an old enamel mug with its slightly chipped rim. And the smell that rises with is of tea, strong, dark tea, the kind that belongs in stone houses near the sea. Or if you prefer, coffee, dark, and soft, and warming, or something herbal and quiet, chamomile, perhaps, or something that smells of the coast, of calm, whatever you prefer. It is here. It is hot. It steams in your hands when you wrap them around the cup, and your hands, still cool from the journey, feel the heat with a particular gratitude, a particular recognition of warmth meeting cold and cold dissolving into it. You take the smallest sip. The heat travels down your throat, into your chest, into the center of you, spreading slowly, warmly, the way warmth moves when it is unhurried and kind. You settle back in the chair. The cup is in your hands. The fire is in front of you. The lamp on the table casts its small golden circle. The rain is against the windows. The windows of this house are small and deep set in the thick stone walls. Their glass old and slightly weighty with age, and the rain runs down the outside of them in slow threads that catch the lamplight and hold it for a moment before running on. The wind finds the chimney again and makes its low, soft sound. You can hear the sea. It is not close. The house is set back enough from the edge of the point that the sound of the waves is not immediate, not loud, not anything that could disturb or unsettle. It is a presence, a background, a constant low murmur that underlies everything else. The sea is doing what the sea does, moving, breathing, pressing against the rock and pulling back, pressing again and pulling back, in a rhythm so old and so patient that it has become the rhythm of this place, the heartbeat of the point, the sound against which all other sounds are measured. And it is a comfortable sound, a reassuring sound, the sound of something enormous being itself, without drama, without hurry, without any particular concern for you or for the lighthouse or for the night. The sea does not concern itself with you, but it is not unkind either. It is simply there, and its being there, its constancy, its endless patient motion, is one of the most restful sounds in the world. When you are inside a warm house of stone, and the fire is burning, and you are in a chair, the sea says, "I have been here forever." The lighthouse says, "I am watching." The fire says, "I am warm." And you say nothing. You just breathe in and out, and the warmth holds you. Let's stay here a while. There is no reason to move through this quickly. There is nowhere on the other side of this moment that is better than this moment. There is nothing waiting for you that cannot wait. Nothing requiring your attention that the morning cannot see to. Tonight is long, and it is yours, and it is asking nothing of you but this, to be here, in this warmth, by this fire, in this old house on the point, and to rest. So let's stay. Let's be here. Let's be completely here, in this amber room with the fire and the rain and the turning light above and the sound of the sea. Feel the chair beneath you, the way the seat holds the weight of you evenly and without complaint. The way the arms of the chair offer themselves to your arms, and you can rest your arms there. Let your elbows sink into the slight give of the wood or the padding. Let your forearms lie along them in complete repose. Your hands hold the cup, or perhaps you have set the cup on the stone hearth nearby, and your hands rest open in your lap, or loosely curled, the way hands rest when they have finished doing things. The chair back behind you, let yourself lean into it. Not tentatively, not with the held readiness of someone who might need to stand up at any moment. All the way back, let the chair take all of you. Let your back meet the chair's back. Let your shoulder blades spread and soften against it. Let the curve of your lower back find the support that is there. You are sitting back. You are received. The chair has held many people in exactly this way, in front of exactly this fire, on many nights exactly like this one. You are one of a long line of people who have sat in this chair and been held by its particular warmth and comfort. You are not alone in having needed this, and you are not alone now. The fire pops softly, a single small sound, a brief, bright pop from somewhere in the coals, and then the fire settles again, and the room settles with it, and the quiet that follows is slightly deeper than the quiet before, the way quiet always deepens after a small sound. The sound having drawn your attention to the silence that surrounds it after the pop, the crackle of the burning coals, after the crackle, the low hiss of moisture in the wood meeting the heat, after the hiss, just the sound of burning, which is almost not a sound at all, which is just the fire doing its slow and ancient work, and underneath all of it, the rain, and underneath the rain, the sea, and underneath the sea, something older than sound, something that does not make a sound at all, but that you can feel, that you could feel if you were very still and very quiet and had been sitting by this fire for long enough. The deep, slow pulse of the earth itself, the rock of this point, which is very old, which was here before the lighthouse and before anyone who built it, which was here before the sea was the sea, which will be here long after every human thing on it has been worn away. Old, patient, still, you are sitting on the oldest thing there is, and the oldest thing there is does not shake, it does not worry, it does not hurry. It simply is, in its deep, enormous, unhurried way. And tonight, you get to be still with it. You are safe here, a lamp on the table. Let your eyes rest on it for a moment. If they are open, or picture it clearly if they are closed. It is an oil lamp, a real one. The kind this house would have always had, a glass reservoir of oil below, and a wick that burns with a warm, slightly orange, slightly flickering flame. The glass chimney around the flame is clear and clean, and the light it allows through is the warmest kind, not white, not blue-white, not the hard light of electricity, but something softer and older. The lamplight pulls on the wooden table and picks out the grain of the old wood, each line and whorl of it, each record of the trees' slow-growing years. The lamp does not demand anything of you. It does not require you to look at it. It simply burns, quietly, steadily, doing its small, beautiful job of making a little circle of warm light in a warm room. If you look at the flame directly, it moves. It always moves. Not dramatically, not whipping or guttering or making any kind of scene. Just the very slight, constant, organic movement of a flame that is alive in its way, that responds to the tiniest shifts in the air with tiny adjustments of its shape. It leans a fraction to the left, then straightens, then leans a fraction to the right. The tip of it bends and returns. The whole flame breathes in its own very small and continuous way. A flame breathing, a fire breathing, the sea breathing against the rock. You breathing, everything alive, everything in motion, everything gentle and patient and well. Think about where you are for a moment, not to analyze it, not to understand it in any complicated way, just to feel it. You are on a point of rock that reaches into the sea. The sea surrounds you on three sides. not dangerously, not threateningly, just geographically. The water is out there, dark and moving, doing its thing. The rain is falling on it, adding itself to the vast body of the sea one drop at a time, which is how the sea has always been added to, patiently and incrementally. The lighthouse stands above you, and the light turns, and somewhere in the dark out on the water, far away, beyond where you can see or hear, a ship sees it, or perhaps no ship tonight. Perhaps tonight the sea is empty of vessels, and the light sweeps through pure dark and pure rain, marking a point that needs no marking tonight, doing its work anyway, because that is what it does, because the work matters whether or not anyone is watching. There is something very comforting about that, about things that do their work whether or not anyone is watching. The fire burns whether you watch it or not. The sea moves whether you hear it or not. The lighthouse light turns whether there is a ship to see it or not. Everything doing its work, quietly, continuously, without needing your attention or your acknowledgement. And you can put your attention down. You can let it rest. You can stop attending to things just for tonight. Just here. The rain on the windows has changed slightly. It has become heavier, or perhaps more directional. The wind shifting a degree or two and bringing the rain against the seaward window with a little more presence, a more consistent soft percussion against the old glass. You can hear it now with more clarity. The rain on the window, a fine, continuous, regular sound like someone running their fingers very lightly and very quickly across a surface. It comes in waves, fuller for a moment, then easing, then fuller again, following the rhythm of the wind that carries it. It is a sound that says, I am outside. It is a sound that says, but you are inside. And that gap between outside and inside, that gap, the thick stone walls create, but the heavy door reinforces, that the fire deepens with every degree of warmth it adds to the room. That gap is everything tonight. That gap is safety. That gap is rest. That gap is the difference between weather happening to you and weather happening near you while you are warm. You are warm. You are inside. The rain is outside. Everything is in its right place. Take a slow breath. The air in this room has layers. First, closest to your face, the warmth of the fire, dry and slightly smoky, the exhaled warmth of burning wood. Then beneath that, the salt that comes from the sea air, that finds its way into every stone building near the coast, that lives in the walls, in the timber and the fabric and the air of every room that has the sea for a neighbor. Then something older, the smell of the stone itself, which is a smell so subtle you might not notice it directly, but which is there, a particular mineral quiet of rock that has been here for a very long time. And somewhere in all of that, the tea or the coffee, the warmth of your drink, which is cooling slowly in your hands or in the cup on the hearth, still warm, still steaming very faintly. Breathe all of it in, the fire and the salt and the stone and the warmth, the smell of this specific place, the smell of shelter. Let's go slowly through your body and let it rest. Start at your feet in their thick socks, resting on the stone floor, or perhaps tucked up onto the chair with you, or resting on the hearthstone near the fire. Your feet have carried you here. They have walked the path in the rain. found the footing on the slick stones, done the work of getting you to this door, and now they are done. They do not need to do anything else. They can be completely, entirely at rest. Let them be heavy. Let all the tension that feet carry, the small, constant work of balance and grip and movement, let all of that go. Your feet are soft. Your toes are loose. The soles of your feet, the arches, the heels, all of it resting, all of it done for tonight. Let that softness rise through your ankles, through the long muscles of your calves. You've been walking in the rain. Your calves worked. They are allowed to be done now. Let them soften. Let them release. Let them be still. Your knees, easy, bent or straight, whichever they are in the chair, just at rest. Your thighs, heavy. The large muscles of them can let go now. They need hold nothing. The chair holds everything. Let your hips settle deeper into the seat. Feel the cushion receive them, the slight give of it. Let your pelvis be heavy. Let it be completely supported. Your back, the small of your back, where so much tension quietly lives, let it ease into the chair back, not with force, not with effort, just permission. Just, you can let go now. The chair's there. The chair has you. Your stomach can be soft. It does not need to hold itself. Let it rise gently with your breath, fall gently with your breath, and be otherwise completely unremarkable, just a warm and easy part of a warm and easy body at rest. Your chest, your ribs moving slightly with each breath in the most minimal and natural way. No holding, no bracing, just the automatic, effortless movement of breathing. Your shoulders, drop them. If you read that word and felt them move, even a fraction of an inch, then they had been lifted, had been held in the readiness that cold and effort and the weight of things create. And now they can come down, down and back, away from your ears, back toward the chair. There, your arms resting along the arms of the chair or in your lap. Heavy, done, resting. Your hands, open or gently curled, warm from the cup, warm from the fire. The fingers loose, the palms open, nothing gripped, nothing held. Your neck, long and easy. Your head resting on the back of the chair, or tip slightly forward, or turned a little toward the fire, wherever it wants to be. Your face, the muscles of your face, which work without you noticing, the slight tension around the eyes, the faint set of the jaw, the small effort of expression, all of it can release. Let your face be soft. Let your jaw be loose, slightly open, relaxed. Let the skin of your forehead be smooth. Let your eyes be soft behind their lids. Your whole body, warm, heavy, held, at rest. You are so comfortable. Let's just hold that for a moment. You are so comfortable in this chair, in this warm room, with the fire in front of you, and the rain on the windows, and the sea somewhere nearby doing its ancient, patient work, and the lighthouse above sending its slow signal through the dark. You are in one of the most sheltered places there is, not just physically, not just because the walls are thick and the fire is real, but in some deeper sense. This place has been keeping people safe for a very long time. The lighthouse was built for exactly that, to keep things safe, to be the fixed point in the dark that tells you where you are. And the keeper's house, this room, This fire, this chair, was built to keep the keeper safe and warm, so that the keeper could keep the light going. Everything here was built around the idea of safety. Everything here was built around the idea of keeping someone warm and present and at rest, so that the work of keeping others safe could continue. And now you are here, and you are the one being kept, and the warmth is real, and the walls are real, and you are safe here. The keeper, there is something worth thinking about, not with urgency, not with analytical attention, just gently, the way you might think about something while half asleep, letting the thought drift like smoke. The lighthouse keeper. Every lighthouse had one for most of their history, a person who lived here on this point through every weather and every season, whose job was to tend the light, to keep it burning, to climb the stairs, and there are stairs above you now, winding up through the tower. Stone steps worn by the same pattern of footsteps year after year, to climb those stairs and check the mechanism, to clean the lens, to refill the oil, to ensure that the light kept turning. A life of great patience, a life of repetition, not the deadening kind of repetition, but the good kind, the kind that becomes its own rhythm, its own meditation. Every morning the same, every evening the same, the light on at dusk, the light checked through the night, the log written in, the weather noted, the lamp tended, and in between, this chair, this fire, this tea, or something like it, this rain on the windows, and this wind in the chimney, and this sea, always the sea, always nearby, always breathing. The keeper sat where you are sitting. In some sense, perhaps, the keeper is still here. Not in any way that should unsettle you, nothing like that. Just in the way that places hold the people who lived in them. The worn places in the stone floor, the hooks by the door that have held 1,000 coats, the chair that has held 1,000 evenings of quiet, the mantelpiece. There is a mantelpiece. Let's see it now. A wide stone shelf above the fireplace with a few things on it. A clock, old brass, quiet in its ticking, marking time in the same patient way that has always marked time. A small framed picture, too dark to make out clearly in this light, but there, present, belonging. A piece of rope worked into an elaborate knot, the kind sailors make, the kind that is art as much as function. A smooth gray stone, round and perfect, picked up from the beach below the point on some morning walk. Small things, quiet things, things that make a place feel inhabited, things that say, someone has loved being here, and now you love being here, and that is enough. The clock on the mantel ticks, tick, tick, tick. It is a slow tick, slower, it seems, than ordinary clocks. Or perhaps time moves differently in this place, the way time moves differently near the sea, near things that are very old and very patient. Each tick is a moment, and each moment is warm, and each warm moment is yours. Tick, and the fire pops softly. Tick, and the rain finds the window. Tick, and the sea breathes against the rock below. Tick, and the lighthouse light sweeps its arc somewhere above you, through the rain and the dark. Tick, and you breathe in and out. Tick, there is a bookshelf in the corner of the room, between the window and the door that leads to the base of the tower. there is a small bookshelf, and the books on it are various in age and size. Old paperbacks with their spines creased and their covers faded, a few hardcovers in dark cloth bindings, a nautical almanac, a tied table from some previous year, the books of someone who reads steadily and without pretension, who reads what is available and what interests them, and does not worry very much about whether the books match. Some of the books have been read many times. You can tell by the way they sit on the shelf, slightly tilted from repeated taking down and putting back, their spines more flexible than they once were, their pages carrying the slight waviness of books that have been read in places with some humidity in the air, near the sea, in stone houses where the rain comes in its salt fog. You do not need to read tonight, but there is a comfort in the presence of books, a particular kind of quiet that they have, the quiet of words waiting patiently to be read, all of them patient, none of them urgent, all of them simply there. Perhaps there is someone else here, in the back of the house, beyond the door in the far wall, which is closed, behind which there is presumably a small kitchen or another room. There is the faintest sound of quiet occupation, a kettle being moved, a chair being settled in, not sounds that demand your attention, not sounds that mean anything needs to happen, just the sounds of someone else being comfortable in their own part of this warm house, someone who knows this place well, who has been here through many storms and found each one manageable, each one something to sit beside rather than fight. The keeper, perhaps, still here, still tending things in their quiet way. If that thought is welcome, let it be here. The thought of being in a warm house where someone else also is, where you are not entirely alone in the warmth, where somewhere nearby there is another person being quietly at rest. If you prefer perfect solitude, then the house is yours entirely. The sounds are just the house settling, just the wind finding small spaces in the old stone and speaking through them, just the fire and the clock and the rain. Either way, you are safe. Either way, you are warm. Either way, there is nothing here that means you harm. Everything in this house is on your side. The fire is on your side. The walls are on your side. The thick stone that has stood here through every storm for 100 years or more is entirely on your side. You are held. You are safe here. A lighthouse, light turns, even from inside the keeper's house. Even with the curtains drawn across the small, deep windows, you can sense it, the very faintest pulse of the great light, as it sweeps its arc once per rotation, the room briefly fractionally brighter, and then returning to the warm amber of the fire and the lamp. Once, and again, and again. It is a heartbeat. The lighthouse has a heartbeat, and it is regular and steady and slow. And it is the heartbeat of safety, the heartbeat of marking, of saying, here is the point, here is the rock, here is where you are. Let it be a comfort. Each slow sweep of light above you is the lighthouse doing its work. You do not have to do your work tonight. Tonight, the lighthouse is working. Tonight, the fire is working. Tonight, the house is working, and you get to rest. Let's listen to the rain. Just the rain. For a while, just the rain. It is on the seaward window, the window that faces the water, that takes the full force of the wind off the sea. It comes against the glass in gusts, and then eases, and then comes again, And in the gusts, you can hear each individual drop for a moment, and then the drops blend into each other and become a single texture of sound, a continuous soft percussion that is not quite like anything else in the world. Rain on old glass in an old stone house near the sea. On a night like this one, there is nothing you need to do about the rain. It is doing exactly what rain does, and it is doing it outside. And outside is exactly where it belongs. And you are inside, and inside is warm and dry and lit by fire. The rain cannot get to you. It knows this. It is not trying. It is just rain, being rain, doing what rain does in the way that rain has always done it, patiently and continuously and entirely without any intention toward you one way or another. And the sound of it is beautiful. The sound of rain when you are inside is one of the most beautiful sounds there is, because every drop of rain you can hear is one more drop that confirms you are inside. You are safe. The world out there is doing its weather, and you are here in the warmth by the fire in the thick-walled house on the point. Listen to it. Let it fall. Let it fall on the windows and the roof and the stone courtyard outside and the path and the rock of the point and the sea below. And let each place it falls confirm that you are not in those places. You are here in the warmth, in the quiet, in the safe. Your tea or coffee, if there's any left in the cup. It is warm, but not hot now. The most comfortable temperature, the temperature at which you can drink it easily without thinking, without waiting, without being careful. The kind of warmth that asks nothing of you. Pick it up, if you have not already. Hold it in both hands. Feel the warmth of it through the ceramic or the enamel, spreading into your palms, into your fingers. Drink if you want to, or just hold it. Just hold the warm cup. Let the warmth of it be another layer of warmth in the many layers of warmth that surround you tonight. Outside, somewhere below the point, the sea is breaking. You cannot hear the individual waves from here. The house and the distance aren't enough to soften the sound until it is just a general murmur, a consistent low presence. But in the quietest moments, in the pauses between the rain gusts and the fire sounds and the clock ticks, you can hear it. The low, continuous breathing of the sea against the rock. It is a sound with a rhythm if you listen carefully enough, not a strict rhythm. The sea does not keep strict time, but a rhythm nonetheless, the rhythm of waves that have come a long distance across open water and are meeting the rock at the end of their journey. They come and they break and they pull back and they come again, and each cycle is slightly different from the last, slightly more energy or slightly less, slightly more spray or slightly more foam, but the overall pattern is consistent. Come, break, pull back, come, break, pull back. The sea has been doing this since before the lighthouse was built. It will be doing it long after you wake tomorrow morning and make your tea and look out the window and see the world washed clean by the night's rain, white and fresh and new. It will be doing it then, and it is doing it now. And the sound of it is not urgency, is not danger, is not anything you need to respond to. It is just the sea, just the old patient sea, doing what it does. You are becoming very comfortable. There is a word for what you are becoming, and the word is drowsy, not dramatically, not heavily, not suddenly, just gently, the way the edges of things soften when you have been warm and still for long enough, the way the sounds of the room begin to blend into a single texture of sound rather than separate distinguishable things. The fire is there, the rain is there, the clock is there, the sea is there, and you can identify each of them if you want to, but you do not have to. And more you find you do not want to, more and more you find that the whole composite sound of this room on this night is simply good, simply warm, simply safe. Your body is very heavy. Your limbs have the weight of rest in them, not the heaviness of tiredness, which feels like burden, but the heaviness of deep relaxation, which feels like earth, which feels like being part of something solid and still. Your eyes, if they are open, are soft. The fire seen through soft eyes is more beautiful than the fire seen with sharp attention. The colors are richer, the edges are blurred into each other, the movement of the flames is slower and more graceful. It is the fire as your body wants to see it, gently, without effort, without precision. Let your eyes be soft. Let them close if they want to. Let the fire color exist as a warmth against your closed lids rather than a sight. The clock ticks, tick, tick, tick. It is ticking you towards sleep. Every tick is another moment of rest, another moment of warmth, another moment of safety. The clock does not hurry. The clock has no opinion about whether you are asleep or awake. It simply keeps its time. This simple, honest mechanism of gears and springs, and a pendulum swinging in the deep of its case. Tick, the fire breathes. Tick, the rain falls. Tick, the sea breathes. Tick, the lighthouse turns. Tick, you breathe. And now. And now. Tick, you're so close to sleep, not rushing toward it, not trying to arrive there, just being carried, gently, without effort, in the direction that this warmth and this quiet and this stone house and this fire are all pointing, which is rest, which is sleep, which is the deep, genuine, restorative rest that your body has been asking for, that your mind has been waiting for, that the whole long journey here was in service of. You have arrived. The journey is done. This is the place. You are in the chair. The fire is warm. The rain is on the windows. The sea is breathing. The lighthouse is turning. And you are here. You are safe here. You can sleep. Let the sounds be sounds, not words, not information, not things to respond to or remember or analyze. Just the rain, just the fire, just the sea, just the clock, just sounds moving through you, not catching on anything, not requiring anything, moving through the warm dark of your closed eyes like water through clear stone, smooth and easy, and leaving everything clean. You do not need to hold the sounds. They will be here. They will be here all night. These sounds, the rain and the fire and the sea and the clock doing their work, whether or not you are conscious of them. They do not need you to listen. They are content to sound without an audience, and you are free to stop listening. You are free to let the sounds become the background of sleep rather than the foreground of waking. Let them recede gently, Let them go from foreground to background, from something heard to something felt, from something felt to just the warmth, and just the warmth to just the dark, and just the dark to sleep. Sleep. You are so close. The lightest, most transparent layer of consciousness is all that remains between you and sleep, and it is becoming more transparent with every breath, every heartbeat, every slow tick of the clock on the mantle, every wave of rain against the old glass window, every low voice of the fire in the deep stone grate. With every breath, you are closer. With every heartbeat, you are more relaxed. With every tick of the clock, you are further from the day and its demands, and its difficulties, and its distances, and closer to this, to sleep, to rest, to the warm dark behind your eyes, to the deep, safe, quiet place where the body heals itself, and the mind sorts itself, and everything that needed to be put down is put down, and everything that needed to be held loosens its grip and rests. The keeper tends the light. Above you, the mechanism turns. Below, the sea breathes, the rain falls, the fire burns, the clock ticks, and you sleep, or you are nearly sleeping. Nearly. So nearly that it makes no difference. The warmth is complete. The quiet is complete. The safety is complete. And you are complete in the middle of all of it. Warm and still and held, breathing slowly in the amber dark of your closed eyes, hearing without listening, feeling without thinking, being without effort, being, just being, in this old house, on this old point, with this old sea, and this young fire, and this good, long, warm night ahead of you. Let go everything you were holding. Let it go. It will be there in the morning. It will be fine in the morning. Morning is a long way away, and far away is exactly where it should be, and in the space between now and morning, there is only this: the warmth, the quiet, the rain, the fire, the sea, the clock, the lighthouse, turning, and you sleeping deeply, warmly, safely. Well, the lighthouse turns, the rain falls, the sea breathes, the fire holds its warmth, and you sleep. You are safe here. Everything is quiet now. You can rest. In the deep of the night, the storm finds its own rest. The rain eases, not ending, but softening into something finer. A mist more than a rain, a presence in the air rather than a falling from the sky. The wind, which had been moving steadily off the water all evening, settles into a quieter rhythm, a breath rather than a wind, something that barely moves the grasses on the point, that barely troubles the surface of the water below. The world is resting. Even the storm is resting. Even the sea, in the quietest part of the night, seems to breathe more slowly, its waves longer and lower and more peaceful. The sound they make against the rock more of a sigh than a crash. Everything settling, everything softening, everything finding its way to rest. And in the keeper's house, the fire has burned down to its deepest, most patient self. Not flames now, but coals, deep red and deep orange, glowing steadily from within, giving off the warmest and most even heat of any stage of a fire's life. The room is completely amber. The shadows in the corners are deep and warm and still. The lamp on the table has burned low, its light barely more than a glow. the smallest circle of gold on the old wood. The clock ticks, tick, tick, and the coals glow, and the rain whispers, and the sea sighs, and the lighthouse turns, once, and again, patient, faithful, see, as it has always been, as it will always be, and you sleep. You have been sleeping for a while now, deep in the comfortable dark, in the warmth of the chair and the blanket. Perhaps you found a blanket. Perhaps it was already there, folded over the arm of the chair, waiting for exactly this, a thick wool thing in some dark, practical color that smells faintly of cedar and salt, in the warmth of the fire's long, slow giving, in the warmth of the house itself, which is warm all the way through, warm in its stones, and its beams, and its worn floors. You are sleeping. Your breathing is slow, slower than it has been all day, deeper, each breath traveling all the way down to the bottom of your lungs and returning unhurried. Your body is completely at rest. Every muscle, every joint, every surface of skin, all of it warm, all of it still, all of it doing the quiet, invisible work of rest and recovery that bodies do when they are allowed to, when they are warm enough and safe enough and still enough to do it properly. Tomorrow, you will wake slowly. You will surface from sleep the way the rocks emerge from the sea at low tide gradually, as the water recedes, shapes appearing that were always there, just briefly covered. You will become aware of the room slowly, the light first, pale morning light through the deep set windows, gray and soft and coastal, the particular gray of a morning after a storm, when the clouds are still there, but the rain is past and everything is clean. You will hear the sea, quieter than last night, or different, the particular quiet of the sea after a storm, when the waves are still larger than usual, but they are smooth and long and rolling, the storm's energy passing through the water long after the wind that created it has moved on. You will smell the cold ash of the fire, and beneath it the salt, and beneath it the stone, and you will lie still for a moment, completely warm under the blanket, and you will simply exist in the morning of this old house on the point, and it will be good. But that is morning, and morning is not yet. Morning is on the other side of the long, warm, dark, rain soft, fire warm, sea breath night, and the night has many good hours left in it. Sleep through them, all of them, each one. The lighthouse turns, the fire glows, the clock ticks, the rain whispers, the sea sighs, the house holds, and you sleep. You are safe here. Everything is quiet now. You can rest. Sleep, just sleep. Warm, safe, held, here, on the point, by the sea, in the light of the lighthouse, in the warmth of the fire, in the quiet of the night. Sleep, warm, safe, the sea, the fire, the light. Sleep, sleep, sleep.